Echoes of the night shift. In the heart of Chicago, where the skyline pierced the winter clouds like jagged teeth, stood Mercy General Hospital. It was a sprawling beast of concrete and glass, its emergency room a perpetual whirlwind of chaos and hope. Amidst the beeps of monitors, the shuffle of weary feet, and the muffled sobs of families, worked Elena Ramirez, a 28-year-old registered nurse whose life had become a tapestry woven from threads of exhaustion, empathy, and unyielding determination. Elena had grown up in a modest apartment on the South Side, the daughter of Mexican immigrants who scrubbed floors and drove taxis to give her a shot at the American dream. Her mother, Maria, had always said, "Mija, the world doesn't give you anything. You fight for it." Those words echoed in Elena's mind as she pursued her nursing degree at the local community college, juggling night classes with 2 part-time jobs. She graduated with honors, but the ink on her diploma was barely dry when reality hit. Nursing wasn't just about saving lives, it was about surviving the grind. Her first day at Mercy General was a blur. Orientation in a sterile conference room where the HR rep droned on about protocols and benefits. "You'll be on the night shift for the first year," she was told. "Builds character." Elena nodded, her scrubs still crisp and her stethoscope shiny. She didn't know then that character meant sleepless nights, aching feet, and a heart that would break 1,000 times over. The night shift started at 7 p.m. and ended at 7 a.m., but overtime was the norm. Elena's unit was the ICU, where the sickest patients fought for every breath. Her mentor, Nurse Valerie Thompson, a grizzled veteran with 25 years under her belt, took her under her wing. "Kid, this job will chew you up if you let it," Valerie warned, her voice raspy from years of chain smoking on breaks. "But if you learn to bend without breaking, you'll make it." Elena's first patient was Mr. Harlan, a 72-year-old widower with end-stage COPD. His lungs were like wet paper bags, rattling with each inhale. She checked his vitals, administered his meds, and sat with him when his family couldn't. "You're an angel," he wheezed one night, his hand trembling as it clasped hers. Elena smiled, but inside she felt the weight of his loneliness. That night, after her shift, she cried in the parking lot, the cold wind biting her cheeks. It was her first lesson. Empathy was a double-edged sword. As weeks turned to months, the struggles mounted. Staffing shortages meant Elena often worked double shifts, 16 hours straight, with only a 30-minute break to scarf down cafeteria food that tasted like cardboard. Her body rebelled. Back spasms from lifting patients, headaches from fluorescent lights, and feet blistered from endless rounds. She learned to power through with black coffee and sheer willpower, but the emotional toll was heavier. One evening, a code blue blared over the intercom. Room 412, a young mother, Sarah Jenkins, 32, postpartum hemorrhage after a complicated delivery. Elena lashed in, her heart pounding. The team swarmed, doctors barking orders, defibrillators charging. Elena started compressions, her arms burning after minutes that felt like hours. "Clear," the doctor shouted, shock after shock, but Sarah's eyes remained vacant. Time of death, 2:17 a.m. Elena stepped out, her scrubs soaked in sweat, and vomited in the bathroom. Valerie found her there, sobbing. "It never gets easier, but you learn to honor them by keeping going," she said, handing Elena a tissue. That was lesson 2. Death was a teacher, cruel but necessary. Elena's personal life frayed under the pressure. Her boyfriend, Marco, a mechanic with dreams of his own, grew distant. "You're never here, Elena. It's like I'm dating a ghost." Their arguments escalated, fueled by her fatigue and his frustration. One night, after a grueling shift where she lost 2 patients to COVID complications, the pandemic's lingering shadow still haunting hospitals, Marco packed his bags. "I can't compete with your job," he said. Alone in their tiny apartment, Elena stared at the empty closet, feeling the isolation deepen. But she couldn't quit. Nursing was her calling, her purpose. To cope, Elena threw herself into learning. She enrolled in online courses for advanced certifications, critical care, wound management, studying during her rare days off. Valerie became her unofficial tutor, quizzing her on pharmacology during quiet moments. Knowledge is your armor, Valerie said. Elena devoured textbooks, practiced IV insertions on dummies, and shadowed surgeons. Her hard work paid off when she caught a medication error that could have killed a patient. The doctor, Dr. Patel, patted her shoulder. "Good eye, Nurse Ramirez, you're going places." But the extreme struggles tested her limits. A brutal winter storm hit Chicago, stranding staff at the hospital for 48 hours. Elena slept on a cot in the break room, waking every few hours to tend to patients. The power flickered, generators hummed, and the ER overflowed with hypothermia cases. One patient, a homeless man named Joe, arrived blue-lipped and delirious. Elena warmed him with blankets, started fluids, and listened to his stories of lost jobs and broken dreams. "Why help a bum like me?" he asked. "Because everyone deserves care," she replied. Joe survived, but Elena's resolve wavered. Her hands shook from exhaustion, her mind foggy. Then came the emotional pinnacle, the pediatric transfer. Mercy General occasionally took overflow from the children's hospital. Lily, a 5-year-old with leukemia, was admitted to Elena's unit. Her bald head and wide eyes tugged at Elena's heartstrings. Lily's parents, exhausted from months of treatments, trusted Elena implicitly. "Make her smile," her mother pleaded. Elena did, bringing coloring books, telling stories of brave princesses who fought dragons, Chemo being the dragon. But Lily's condition worsened. Infections set in, her tiny body failing. Elena held her hand during procedures, sang lullabies through masks. One dawn, Lily coded. The team fought, but it was futile. As Elena wrapped Lily's body for the Morgan, tears streamed down her face. She questioned everything. Why this job? Why the pain? In the aftermath, Elena sought counseling through the hospital's EAP program. The therapist, Dr. Hayes, helped her unpack the grief. "You're not superhuman, Elena. Learning to process this is part of the job." She joined a support group for nurses, sharing stories with others who understood the burnout. It was there she met Alex, a fellow nurse from the ER, whose quiet strength mirrored her own. Their friendship blossomed into something more, a beacon in the darkness. Elena's hard-working nature shone through promotions. After 2 years, she became charge nurse, leading her team with the lessons she'd learned. She advocated for better staffing, speaking at union meetings despite her fear of public speaking. "We can't save lives if we're running on empty," she argued. Her efforts led to small victories, extra breaks, mental health days. Yet the struggles persisted. A mass shooting in the city brought a flood of trauma patients. Elena worked 20 hours straight, triaging gunshot wounds, holding pressure on arteries, comforting the dying. One victim, a teenager named Jamal, reminded her of her younger brother. "Tell my mom I love her," he gasped before slipping away. Elena delivered the message herself, hugging Jamal's mother as they both wept. Through it all, Elena grew. She learned that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was strength. She learned to set boundaries, taking vacations to visit her family in Mexico, recharging her soul. Her mother, proud, said, "You've become the fighter I always knew you were." Years later, as a seasoned nurse educator, Elena trained new recruits, sharing her story. "This job will demand everything from you, your time, your heart, your sanity, but in the struggle, you'll find purpose. You'll learn that every shift, every patient shapes you into someone unbreakable." And so, in the halls of Mercy General, Elena's legacy lived on, a testament to the emotional depths, the relentless learning, the unyielding hard work, and the extreme struggles of a nurse's life.